Hi everyone, we have another great chef interview today. It's with one of our fantastic chefs that is all about sharing her cultural foods and bringing communities together. And with that passion, she's really been able to bring some of the most amazing food from her culture. And I'm so excited to share with you this person. Welcome, Brittany Wang.
Thank you for that really good introduction, Christy.
Well, Brittany, thank you so much for being here with us.
Mhm.
I would really love to hear a little bit more. You and I have gotten to know each other a few minutes here, and I want to hear from you about your background. Like, where did you start having this great passion to bring people together for food?
Okay, so I'm going to try and keep this short while still leaving in the important details. I was born in Shanghai, China, but I moved to Hawaii when I was a baby. But I lived there my entire life. I attended university there. I studied international business and Chinese and marketing. And then after that, a few years after that, I moved to LA, and that's when I had my job as a finance analyst. But yeah, but I've always had I guess, a passion growing up since I was a kid. Because in Hawaii, you couldn't really find any Shanghainese food because there are a lot of like Cantonese food. But so because of that, a lot of times I missed the foods that my grandmother would cook. So as a kid, I was trying to recreate those dishes, and I just did it for fun. I didn't even like think anything about it. And my mom will always be like, why are you in the kitchen again? Are you trying to make a mess? But yeah, but then I've always been an artsy fartsy person growing up. I like art. I like writing songs and poetry and food and all those things. But reality took a hold of me while growing up, and you need a stable job is what everybody tells you. But after I got my job as a finance analyst here, after 3 years, I was just like not very happy anymore. And I was like, is this what life is supposed to be? Like, am I supposed to just work for insurance, work for this and that, not for myself, you know? So I quit my job. And then last year was when I got my job as a line cook at this Michelin recommended Italian restaurant in West Hollywood. And that,
Wow.
yeah, so it was my first restaurant job, but it's also the first time that I said to myself, like, wow, I'm getting paid to do something that I love. It was just a weird, like, thinking to have. And I'm like, this is how you're supposed to think and feel, right? And
Mm.
so that's when at the same time I opened up my Instagram account called the BaoBae. I had the name and everything. I've always liked to make dumplings because I feel like it's a great way to have your friends come together and make them like together as well. And that's when I started to do dumpling making classes. Because I feel like as much as I like to cook food, what drives me the most is using food as a way to like be interactive, trying to get to know somebody more, to show that that food can show that we're more alike than different. And that's what I
Mhm.
started to do just a year ago, and I hosted my first sampling classes in Hawaii, and then yeah, just start to do that, like, and trying to do that more full time since then, and it's becoming like a reality now. So it's been
Oh.
crazy.
Well, like I said, I love your food, and I know anyone who's tried it so far has given us such amazing feedback. And with the whole thing with COVID and the pandemic, and a lot of chefs have been making different changes. How has this affected you? Like, how has this experience been for you so far?
For me, especially as an entrepreneur, it's been very tough, especially in the beginning, because when 2020 started, I'm like, yes, this is gonna be my year after I like started it last year. And I had all these things lined up. Like I had like this, I was supposed to work with this famous DJ on
Mhm.
like a class and trying to use that as a way to promote myself. But of course, like dumpling classes and social distancing does
Yes.
not like match. So yeah, so but as an entrepreneur as well, when you face a problem, instead of saying like, oh, I can't do anything about it, let's give up, you find ways to work with it as you would in a changing industry in life.
Mhm.
So yeah, so now I host online dumpling making classes, but what's been most rewarding for me is also being able to share my food, not through my classes, but for myself as well. And I started to do that for a month with my clients. But after my friend invited me to your group, LA Home Chefs Food to Go, and I remember I was like, oh wow, interesting group. Like I didn't know much about it, but for some reason I told myself, or someone told me to post something on there, and since then it's been like popping. It's been like very, yeah, just super rewarding. I did and it inspired me to like work even more hard into trying to share foods that's from my heart and from my culture, because I thought I only could do that through my classes, but I realized that also I could do that with myself, because with not just by making food, but making food that I find very, I guess, dear to my heart. Yeah.
And we do, and we're honored that you did share with us your food. Like I said, we just continue to get really great feedback from everyone. I personally love your food, so
Thank you.
anyone out there that is within earshot of this, I highly recommend to reach out to Brittany BaoBae and try her food. She takes,
Yeah.
so you can tell that she puts a lot of care in what she prepares for us.
Thank
And
you.
so with that, what do you see, what do you want to accomplish in the next 2 to 5 years? Where do you see your career going from here, since you're so entrepreneurial?
Uh-huh. So so I do have like a 5-year goal, but maybe it can also be a 2-year goal. You can't, there's no such thing as being too ambitious.
Mhm.
So yeah, so my goal is to eventually open up a restaurant in the future, but with the same like concept and passion on how food can bring people
Mhm.
together. So it's going to be like a very inclusive restaurant that during the daytime I sell like dumplings to like friends, or like to like your family members, a place where you can just go and just enjoy like these bite-sized food together. And then during the afternoon, when like things slow down,
Mhm.
um, is when people can use a space to learn how to make the dumplings. And it's going to be like a space where it's going to be in the front of the restaurant, where people from like the outside can like see that experience. I'm like, oh wow, these people are cooking food together. They may not look like they can make dumplings, but they are. You know how like a lot of times it's like you just want to see what people are doing. Like, wow, this is so cool, and that's what I want people to think about food. It's a way to bring you closer with one another, especially if you cook. And then at
Mhm.
nighttime, it's gonna turn into like a dumpling and beer restaurant, where you can go there after work or with your friends and just like talk about life over beer and dumplings. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that sounds really
Yeah.
amazing. I look forward to you bringing that to us and being able to do that. And as far as, specifically your food, like what is
Mhm.
it that you are bringing to our LA Home Chef foodies? What are you offering everybody?
For me, the food that I love the most, and that's dear to my heart, and I know I've like said that a bunch of times, but I feel like the food that speaks to me the most is a food that's going to speak with like the people that eats my food the most. It's going to be food from my culture, which is like Shanghainese food. So a lot of the times you'll like the pan fried soup dumplings is a dish that's authentic to Shanghai. And what inspired me to make that is because when I moved here, I was like, oh my gosh, there's Shanghainese food here, you know, and I was trying to find a place that has authentic Shanghainese food, but I couldn't find it for some reason. Like I found it, but it just wasn't hitting that spot.
Mhm.
So I made it a priority for myself to try and like bring that to you guys. And hopefully I did. And if not, then I'm gonna try harder.
Oh no, it's definitely
Yeah.
very different. What you offer to everyone, it tastes different, the texture is different. It's just, but it's absolutely delicious. So with all this, you know, we want to get into a Q&A. Do you have any other advice that you want to give to our foodies and our chefs? You know, I want to give you a chance to share what you want, what you have in mind. So.
I guess coming from me, so sorry, coming from me personally, not not just as a chef, but just a word of advice that I hold dear to myself is to not be scared of doing what you really want to do. And that can be with anything, could be like your personal goals, can be your business goals and stuff. And what was hard for me doing this is that I didn't take that one step. Just like trust the process and just do what you have to do, because we live in a day and age where we can create anything with the palm of our hands, literally, like your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So with your phone, I encourage everybody to just make your first Instagram account and just put content out there, because that one step is another step to fulfilling something that you wouldn't see, that you wouldn't think was possible, but it is. Yeah, so that's is what I want to share with everybody.
Oh, I love it. And so I want to take this time, you know, give everybody an opportunity to get to know you a little bit more. So we're going to go into our Q&A portion. So we do have a couple of questions that have already come up. So, so what new foods are you planning to introduce? And you are introducing food every 2 weeks. So anyone who is out there, you know, looking to try your food, you know, it'll come up every couple of weeks. So anything that you want to introduce, anything new that you're developing?
Right now, because it's going to be the Moon Festival soon, I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with that, but it's the Harvest Moon Festival, which happens around this like fall time. And last year, I've introduced the Shanghainese moon cakes, which I'm also offering this month. So I'm sure a lot of people has tried the more sweet popular version
Mhm.
mooncakes, which is from the south part of China. But this one, it comes from like the Suzhou area of China, which is near Shanghai. And we have a mooncake that has like it's a mooncake that's filled with ground pork. And
Oh,
then the exterior is a flaky dough, like
oh,
flaky kind of bread. So that's something new that I want to offer to you guys. Besides my pan fried soup dumplings, I know you all love, but
mhm.
I want to change it up a bit sometimes, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
we're looking forward to it, and I think that's a great
Mm-hmm.
treat, especially for this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's going to be so many people very interested in giving that a try with you. So if you guys know anyone that wants to try this, you know, go ahead and share this video with them, or you know, tag your friends here on the group so that we can get them to get the experience to try Brittany's food. So who influenced you the most starting out cooking? I know you were very passionate about it because you're trying to bring Shanghainese food, authentic Shanghainese food to your community, but you know, was there a particular person that inspired that from you too?
I guess a person would probably be my mom and my grandmother. Um, of course, like I feel like the inspiration comes from, I guess, sharing the food itself. But of course, growing up is like the flavors and everything comes from my family, because a lot of the times I feel like the best foods does not have to be really expensive. It does not have to be like French food and stuff, which like can be, because a lot of the best foods I've had was probably like really expensive, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know food can be this way, because food is supposed to be an experience. Like I never tried this flavor before, but sometimes the best taste in the world just comes from a dish that your mom made, you know,
Yeah.
because it just hits the spot, you know.
Yeah, and there's so much connection to the food when it
Mhm.
comes to home cooking, right? That we all love.
Yeah.
I love my grandmother's cooking. So,
Yeah.
and then, what has been your greatest challenge in these last year and a half? Definitely going out on your own. I know you've shared your transition so far with COVID, but what so far has been your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge is trying to keep myself accountable and motivated. It's very hard, especially if you're doing everything yourself. Sure, a lot of us can't relate to that, and just like figuring out what's the next thing to do. You know, it's like I have this feedback, or even if I don't have any feedback, what should I do? You know, because I know a lot of us work in like different ways, but so that's one of the things that held me back a little bit, is just like trying to figure out ways to keep me motivated, especially during these tough times, you
Right.
know. And I would say that what kept me motivated was trying to just like stick to, I guess, my passion, because a lot of the times we kind of lose track, and we think that, oh wow, I'm like suddenly I'm suddenly getting all this, like, I want to say popularity, but
Mhm.
suddenly getting all these like people wanting to order food from
Mhm.
me. Should I keep doing this, or should I keep doing, like, I guess, what I feel like motivates me in the long term, you know? Yeah. So I think that happened to me a few times in the past 2 months,
Mhm.
where I kind of like lost track, and and I had to like hold myself back a bit, and just be like, what's your long-term goals, you know? Like,
Yes.
yeah. And like, you can't continue to keep selling these foods every other 2 weeks, but what other ways can you build your passion besides just selling food, you know? Because
Right.
a lot of the times we just go on autopilot and just
Mhm.
forget the important things. Yeah.
Right. And I love that you transitioned yourself to doing private cooking, like
Mhm.
classes online. And I know that, you and I were talking about it and how that was a challenge for you initially, but I respect the fact that you're willing to take that challenge on, and continue to grow yourself. So I definitely look forward to seeing more of that, because I know that's something that you're really, really passionate about too.
Uh-huh.
So someone did ask, like, how many dumplings, like the most dumplings you've ever sold in a day? Because I know we've been keeping you busy. We're just always curious, right? Like, how busy are we keeping our chefs?
In the day, I don't really keep track I feel like I don't keep track per day, because
Mhm.
I'm just gonna just um kill myself by looking at those numbers. I should just keep going until the end of the week, and then I'm like, because I used to be a finance analyst and want to have like an Excel spreadsheet. I keep track of everything and look at the trends and stuff. But but I would say there's one week accounting for the frozen dumplings as well. I think I made over 600. Yeah, and all of
Oh
the
my
dough is
God.
fresh, and I don't have a stand mixer. Just want to put that in.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
so
Wow. You have good
I'm
arm strength there.
like shoulders mostly, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then we have another great question about any advice you would like to share to the private chefs, about starting a business. Like, I know you shared
Hmm.
about, stepping outside of your fear, but anything like tangible that they should take into action about moving
Hmm.
into their own business.
I guess it depends on like what you want to do too, because I do have a lot of friends that just started just like using this time now to start their own thing.
Mhm.
And there's this one friend that wanted to open up her own cake business, and
Mm.
she just felt like there's like she didn't know where to start or if this was okay and stuff, or but like what I said, just continue to put your content out there and just speak with what's in your heart, you know. Yeah, and don't be scared of like, oh, I don't have a nice camera yet. I'm like, well, if you wait until you have a nice camera, when will that be, you know? And that's from a more, I guess, more of a people side, where you should be more like passionate with your clients and stuff. But from a business side, I would say, um, for me, just always try to look for feedback from your clients, no matter if it's good or bad. And for me, what I've learned over the past months is I actually like to have, like, not poor feedback, like bad feedback, but I'd rather have
Constructive.
someone, yeah,
Constructive.
constructive feedback, because I feel like that will make me improve more instead of like trying to stay like thinking that, oh, everything's fine, you know? Yeah.
And I love that. I live by that. I totally respect that you're just a completely just take the step forward type person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that you're not looking for perfection,
Yeah,
even though you come from a
takes
finance
time.
background.
Yeah, it takes time because I'm like a feeler, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then a lot of times, like as a feeler who's in touch with her feelings,
Mm-hmm.
I have to take a step back and just be like, oh, this is not a this is nothing personal, but it's a way for me to improve, you know.
Yes.
You only make it personal if you make it personal. Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
do you do anything particular that keeps you highly motivated? I know you mentioned just kind of doing a lot of moving forward, but is there anything that,
Mhm.
like tactics or anything that you do different to continue to drive your motivation?
Seeing you guys every time you guys pick up my food, which is so hard because during the COVID times, it's so hard to even see your friends or talk to people. And I feel like the things that inspires me is the people. That's why whenever I give my food to you or like interact with you online, it means a lot to me when you guys give me feedback. Yeah. And that's one of the ways that helps me stay motivated, is just trying to like know you guys and know that you guys enjoy the food regardless. And yeah, and just knowing that after all of this,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna, yeah, just,
Keep growing together,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
just keep going, you know, because like for me, it's like, it's not the end, because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
with everything, life is always going to change, and let's all go with that change, and I'll rise up on top after this. Yeah, I don't like you. I don't want my friends or you guys to be left behind, you know. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
what
so.
keeps me motivated, because it's like things are gonna be okay. You just gotta work with it and be smart, you know.
Yeah. And someone asked, what camera do you use? Do you use a special camera for your videos or your?
I can show you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I use this.
Oh, nice.
It's a 7 plus, but I wish I had like a 10 or something.
Oh, no, no, no.
Yeah, but good lighting is so
Yeah.
important. Good lighting, especially for food. Good
Mhm.
lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
'Cause
that's
your
why
photos are beautiful too. Like your
thank
food
you.
photos.
Yeah, that's what my friends were saying too. Like, what kind of camera do you use? I use my iPhone, but yeah, but good lighting and
Mm-hmm.
plating, and then the visuals are everything about food, and it
Yeah.
depends. Yeah, so I don't like to take my food inside my kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of times I take my food out, go down the stairs with like all of my equipment and food, and I'm like, this is gonna take an hour. And then I take the picture outside, especially during, I guess, the the best times are around 4 to 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want to do it during like 1 because the sun's going to be on top of you and then your phone's going to cast a shadow. Yeah, so that's my recommendation if you don't have a good camera.
That's a great tip. That's a really
Yeah.
awesome tip. So I know, especially our chefs, fooding and plating and all that stuff. It's very artistic as
Uh-huh.
well. But it does make. I think it's a great tip because your photos look always really delicious and very tasty.
Thank you.
So really great. Your favorite food? What is your absolute favorite food? I know you love Shanghainese food. You're very passionate
I
about it, but
love
what's your absolute favorite?
I love all foods. Okay, if I had to pick one, like one that I'm super passionate about, when I moved to LA, this is what I would eat every other week or every week with my friend: ice cream.
Okay, from
Because
where? From where do you eat this ice cream?
from everywhere, but my favorite place to get it so far, my first favorite place was Salt and Straw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Hawaii, we don't have that many selections to begin with. So when I first moved here, I was like, oh my gosh, this flavor exists. And I realized that ice cream can be many different flavors. And consistency and everything is so important to me about ice cream now. I'm like a ice cream diva. But anyways, Salt and Straw. But then now I like Meccano's because it's not too sweet. It's creamy, but it doesn't have that really, like when there's too much fat you feel kind of sick after, like when it's too sweet and stuff. Salt and Straw, I feel like their ice cream is a little bit too on the icier side, if that makes sense. I'm a ice cream diva, so I'm like actually like being one with my ice cream sometimes. Yeah, so that place is good, Salt and Straw. And there's another place in downtown called Uli Gelateria or Gelateria Uli. That's really good too.
And do you watch
Yeah.
football? Someone was asking if you like the Rams or
Oh.
the Chargers.
Oh no, I watched the halftime show of that.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so actually I was thinking about that last night because I feel like since I moved to the mainland, so people from Hawaii called this like the mainland. I feel like because Hawaii doesn't really have a very big sports team, so when I moved here, I started to meet people from California or like other states, and they're so passionate about sports, and I'm like, oh, why am I not that passionate about sports? And I feel like maybe it's just like sports isn't a big thing there, but
To
hopefully
each
I'll
their
get into
own.
that.
To each their own when it comes to sports. Well,
Mhm.
I think we're time's up. But Brittany, thank you so much again for this great interview. It is such a pleasure to get to know you and everyone here at LA Home Chefs. I really highly recommend you try her food. It is fantastic. Follow her on Instagram, the BaoBae. And anything else that you want to say before we sign off?
Mm, keep cool. Um, Yeah, I don't think there's that much anymore. But thank you for all of the support that you guys have given me. It means a lot. I wouldn't think, yeah, it was just like I just joined your guys' group and I see it growing every single day that I come back. And it's just filled with very awesome, open minded people. And the admins are incredible